Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy Bish and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Central Victoria, Australia. So happy to have you here. If you're new, welcome, and I really hope that you'll subscribe. I'm teaming up with Wendy Cranford again this month. We have picked a suite from the Stampin' Up mini catalogue and we are looking at the Abstract Beauty suite. I love this suite. You can find it in pages 48 to 50 in the mini catalogue, and this is such a fun suite. It's all geometric shapes and bright colors. The DSP has gold foiling in it. It's just so much fun. So I'm excited to show you what we're creating this month. So you can find Wendy's link in the description of this video for her videos, and she'll also have a downloadable PDF or project sheet that you can download as well. I'll have one as well in the description of this video, so please go and check those out. They are free to everyone, and I hope that you enjoy them. All right, let's get over to the craft table and we'll see what we're creating. Just quickly going through the mini catalogue, you can find the Abstract Beauty suite in the catalogue. There is a one code to purchase the whole suite, which is fantastic. Now, if for any reason that is unavailable, it could be because there is one or more items unavailable from the suite, and you can just go in there and select each individual item as you need. So the Abstract Beauty Designer Series paper, it's absolutely gorgeous, comes in 4x6, it has some gold foiling, very bright, fun, happy colors, and some great designs in there as well. The bundle is a photopolymer stamp set with gorgeous dies. These are very geometrical design, and yeah, you can have so much fun with those. You can also find note cards and envelopes, an ephemera pack, and I'm pretty sure I've said that wrong, and some embellishments. So really great suite in the catalogue. So the first thing I want to just quickly show you the projects that we're creating. So my first one is a card, very simple design, a little treat box that holds 3 chocolates, and also a card box that will hold those note cards and envelopes that are part of the suite. I've actually put 3 note cards and envelopes in the box, but you could fit a few more in. But I loved this design, so it's a great way to use the whole suite together, and a really nice gift to give to someone as well. So these are the 3 designs. I've got 3 more designs to show you with the box that we're creating today. Alrighty, so we're going to get started with the card. This is the most easiest card in the projects. So I have a piece of A4, and I've just cut a piece of A4 in half, and that's my card base. All the measurements and supplies can be found in the description of this video. There is a downloadable PDF that you can grab for that. We have crushed curry cardstock that I'm using for my little die cut there. We've got the Simply Elegant twine that we're going to use to really make the card just really beautiful. And I'm also using vellum, which is fantastic. So the colours we have here are, let's think back, Crushed Curry, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, and I'm just trying to think, Night of Navy. I'm stamping a random pattern with one of the stamps here using those 4 colours. I'm also using my Stampin' Scrub and Stamping Mist to clean my stamp off in between each stamp. Now, it's a random stamp, but it's also in a bit of a uniform pattern, so I really like how this turned out. I also love that popping a little bit of vellum over the top can really soften it down just that little bit as well. So we have the crushed curry that we're going to die cut out with that little oval shape. It's not really oval, it's a weird shape, but I'm stamping the sentiment from that stamp set in Night of Navy. So I'm also going to grab out a piece of, well, it's the crushed curry version, and for this DSP piece it measures 4 by 5 3/4. I'm going to cut that down. That will give me that little bit of a border around the basic white thick cardstock, which I really like to have. And then just quickly, that stamped piece that we just stamped, basic white 3.5 by 5 1/4. Don't forget there is a downloadable PDF that you can grab for all 3 of these projects. So we're just going to quickly glue all these together using a little bit of liquid adhesive. Nothing too much to it. I'm also going to twirl a little bit of that gold twine from the Simply Elegant twine against the back of our sentiment. Now, when you're using vellum, there's a few different ways you could do it. You could just add adhesive to behind where our sentiment piece is, and that will be fine. You could also use the technique which I'm doing today, and that's grabbing my silicone mat. I'm putting a little bit of glue down onto the silicone mat, and then I'm using a stamping sponge to pick up some of that glue and popping that on the back of the vellum. Now what this does is it secures it down really well, but it doesn't show through, so it's a great way of using vellum. And as you can see, it just dulls that down just slightly. So we're going to bring in some of that gold twine. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a few times just to create some really nice loops. And then I'm going to secure that to the back of our sentiment with some tear and tape. So I really hope that you love these projects. This is one of my, well, it's one of my top probably 3 or 4 suites in the catalogue, or not even suites, but products in the catalogue. It's going to be so easy to create different cards and projects using this bundle and the whole suite. So I hope you all look at it, and if anything, grab that DSP, because that DSP with the gold foiling is really, really pretty. So I've just popped a few dimensionals on the back of the sentiment and popped that up. We're also going to bring in some of those embellishments. These are called adhesive backed hexagons. They come in 90 pieces, 10 each of 3 colours. They're 4, 5 and 6 mil in basic black, blushing bright and just jade. So I've just popped 3 of the just jade ones down. Alright, so moving on to our second project and our little treat box. This is a no glue box, so we're not actually gluing anything down, which is pretty cool. So we're starting off with a piece of basic white thick card base. This measures 5 1/4 by 8 1/4, and we're going to score on the 8 1/4 side at 2 1/4, 3 inch, 5 1/4 and 6 inch. Turning it over to the 5 1/4 side, we're going to score at 3/4, 1 1/2, 3 3/4 and 4 1/2. And I do have a template here, as well as over on my blog in the downloadable section of these PDFs. So go and check that out. Okay, so I'm just bringing the bone folder in and cutting on each of those score lines. We're going to do a fair bit of cutting from this, so I do highly recommend you going and getting that template so you're not cutting off any of the spots that you don't need to get rid of. So we're going to cut off on 2 of those long rectangles there, and we're going to take those off completely on both sides. Then there is 2 little squares next to it. What we're going to do is we're going to cut up to each of those score lines, and then we're going to take off one of the little squares on the end of each one, so leaving like a tab on the side. Then we're going to fold that little square up, because the next lot of long rectangles we're taking off completely on both sides. Now, as you can see, if you're looking at the template, this is super easy, and I probably don't need to talk you through this, but I've got to talk anyway, so why not tell you exactly what we're doing. So the next 2 little squares are our tabs as well. Same as before, we're going to cut up that score line and take that side square off on each side. Okay, so I'm going to bring my snips in now, and we're going to do a little bit of mitre cutting. Now, because this box is a no glue box, you are going to have to take a little bit off the sides or the edges, and that just helps that box to go together. So if you're putting it together and you're finding it's not going in, the tab's not going in properly, you might just have to cut off a little bit more on the tabs, and you'll notice as you put the box together. But it's quite simple. Now we've got some DSP, so I'm just going to fold this together, and that's how easy it is. So when we're popping our DSP pieces down, we're doing everything except for that very last square, because that folds inside the box, so you're not going to see that at all. So we're using some DSP for this one. We have 2 pieces of 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, and then we have 4 pieces for those little tabs, 2 1/8 by 5 5/8. And I'm just going to use liquid adhesive to pop those strips down, all of those DSP pieces. So you're effectively putting front and back. You're putting the top and bottom as well as the sides. So hence 4 of the smaller pieces, 2 of the larger ones. And I think you could get away with just maybe the one at the front, the ones at the side, and one at the top if you didn't want to use so much DSP. But honestly, they're such small pieces that it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so we have our 4 little pieces, our 2 big pieces. Let's bring in some of that liquid adhesive. So like I said before, you're going to put them in on all spots except for that very last square on the end there. If you live in Australia and you would like to purchase any of the products I've used on today's projects, you can purchase them in my online store. Use this month's hostess code and I'll have a handmade card to send out to you, as well as a bundle tutorial. And I love to spoil my customers, so if you don't already work with a demonstrator, I would love to earn your business, and I really like to help inspire you as well. So we've just used that bundle to use that smallest circle with the basic white, and then the second smallest with our gold foil. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab that sentiment. I'm stamping it down onto a scrap piece of basic white, and we're going to, I stamped it with 𝒉𝒐𝒔𝒕. We're going to heat emboss it with gold embossing powder, and I've just heat that up with our heat tool. Going to quickly fussy cut around it. Now we are bringing in that Abstract ephemera pack, and I'm so sorry, I have no idea how it's pronounced. So I've grabbed out that one little element for this box, and we're going to pop that up onto the element and then pop the 2 circles together. Of course, I've used my gold trim, the Simply Elegant gold trim, to add some little circles behind it. So cute. You can dress this box up any way you like, but with that embellishment pack, you could certainly do so much more. There's lots of die cuts, embellished pieces, gold foiling pieces, so you could really do so much with it. Have a look at that pack and see what you could do. So I'm just folding the box together. I'm putting 2 of those gold Lindt chocolates inside, and this is where you see I probably need to cut down a little bit, but it went in without too many issues. You don't want to cut too much because then it won't stay together. Okay, so I'm going to add my little loops here, and we're going to attach that to the back of the circles. I'm also going to pop this up with some dimensionals, just to give it a little bit more pop up. So I'm going to pop this down straight onto the box using some tear and tape, so just a little piece of tear and tape, and then we can pop up our circle there with our sentiment. And this is such a cute little box. I think this would make a really great wedding favour box, as well as maybe a birthday treat box. You could put a lot of different things inside as well. And yeah, with the different DSPs there, the sky's the limit, honestly. So there we have our second little project. So cute, a no glue box. Okay, so we're going to move on to our third and final project. This is a card box that will hold those Abstract Beauty cards and envelopes. So in the pack there are 10 card bases and envelopes with 10 different designs. So I've just grabbed 3 more here, embellished them up using that embellishment pack and the stamp set. So cute. Like I said, I've done very, very simple cards, but you could really do a lot more with them. So we have Night of Navy and Magenta Madness cardstock here. I'm going to cut both of them down to 7.5 by 9.5 inches, and then we're going to create our top and bottom, or our lid and base of our box. So the Magenta Madness is our base. We're going to score at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches on all 4 sides, and then we can fold and score that. With the Night of Navy, because this is our lid or our top, I'm actually going to score the same measurements, so 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 on all 4 sides, but I'm bringing that side of the cardstock just a little off the edge, and that's why I've brought in that score blade rather than using my paper trimmer. So you just want to have that moved over just a little bit off the edge, so you're not doing exact same measurements. If you do the exact same measurements, your box will not go together. Okay, so I've folded and scored and used my bone folder for that. We're going to cut up on both of those score lines. I'm going to take off the one on the very end, and then we're getting rid of that square closest to the end. That is going to make our tab, so we've made some miter cuts on all of 4 of those little edges there. So we're going to do exactly the same on all 4 sides. So we're taking off the 2 on the end, taking off the 1 little square on the end again, and then mitre cutting on all. So we're just going to do this with all 4 sides. It is the exact same one for the Night of Navy. So yeah, once you've done one, you're going to know exactly what to do with the next one. And then we're going to use some tear and tape to secure this box. Because we're not putting anything too heavy inside it, you could get away with using liquid glue. I tend not to use liquid glue while I'm doing videos, especially like this, because I get so much glue all over my fingers that I make a real mess of it. So I'm bringing in my tear and tape for this one. I find it just a little bit easier for me to not get all fingers all sticky. So I'm just going to add a few, like 2 little pieces of the tear and tape on each little tab, and then I'm going to turn it over and then add tear and tape to those end tabs. And honestly, you probably get away with using a little less tear and tape or using your liquid glue there. I don't know. I think your tear and tape's pretty inexpensive, so I have no problems in using it for those strips. So we're doing the exact same again for both the Magenta Madness and Night of Navy, and we're just popping our box together. So when we take the tabs off on the inside, I'm going to use my bone folder and just lay it across that cardstock, and this just pops it down. It's a reinforced side, so it just makes that box look so much nicer, and it gives it a lot more stability as well. So I've gone with the Night of Navy and Magenta Madness because of the DSP piece that I chose for the top of my box. I've also added another bit of the Magenta Madness for the top matting of that DSP, just to make it stand out just that little bit more. I really love these colours together. I think Magenta Madness and the Night of Navy really go together well, the bright and the darker colour. I'm a fan of pinks and blues together, especially, you know, when they're in these sorts of tones. So we're almost finished our box here, which is really great. Then we're going to start decorating the lid for our box. So I'm just going to pop them all on top. Okay, so now we're just going to work on the top bit. We have a piece of Magenta Madness, and this is going to measure 4 1/8 by 6 1/8, and our our DSP is 4 by 6, so we have that 1/8 inch all the way around our DSP. I'm also going to do some die cutting with those hexagon shaped dies. We have the larger one in Crushed Curry, then we have a Magenta Madness and a Night of Navy. That's what we're going to have our sentiment on. So look at those colours together, and then when you pop it on the Night of Navy, it really does pop up. So we're also using that embellishment pack from the suite to really pop up this card, and it just makes it so easy. Okay, so I'm just going to add this to the front of my box, and then we can do some of that die cutting. I really hope that you love the colours in this. Could have used probably a little bit more Just Jade if I wanted to, but I really liked how it turned out. So I'm just grabbing those dies out to do some die cutting, and what's really great is they nest in so well together. So we have the largest, the second largest, and the third largest, and then you've still got one under that. So really nice that there's 4, there's not just 3. So I've quickly die cut those. I'm going to bring in that sentiment, and we're going to stamp that with the versimark ink onto the Night of Navy cardstock. We're going to heat emboss with the gold because we're going to bring all the gold in from that DSP, and my video is not showing up that paper, that DSP so well. It is so pretty with the gold foiling. So I've stamped the sentiment. I'm also coming in, there is in the stamp set little arrows, and I'm stamping those in the bottom of underneath the sentiment as well, and heat embossing them. So if you have any stray powder, just grab an old paintbrush and brush off any powder that you have. So once I've heated that up and we have it nice and glossy, I'm going to bring in that little stamp of the little arrows, and I thought this really just gave it something a little bit extra there. And we're going to do the exact same, so just heat embossing those. Now I'm grabbing out of that embellishment pack, there is a big Magenta Madness flower. There's some large Just Jade leaves, and then there's also a leaf that, or it's almost like a branch in the gold foiling in die cuts. So I've grabbed one of those as well, and I'm just going to use some glue dots to pop them together. So I'm using glue dots to pop down both leaves to the back of our flower. The other thing I'm doing is I'm going to grab some of that gold twine. We're going to create a little bow and stick that over the top of the flower with a glue dot. The glue dots are one of those things that you should have in your stash. They are so good for so many different things, but for ribbon especially, you can fold them down a little bit. It adds a little bit of an extra pop-up. They're clear, so you're not going to see them too much, and yeah, they're just a really great tool to have in your stash for adhesives. So here we are, we're just popping those underneath, and then we're going to pop a dimensional on there to really pop it up, and then we can come back in with our little bow. And I think I might show you a little bit closer how to roll your glue dot so it doesn't stick out. The thing is, with your glue dots, you don't want any of that adhesive showing, because if you stick anything on top, it's going to attach to it. So you could end up with a few issues there. So here we go. So I'm just using my scissors. You can use a piercing tool or the Take My Pick tool. You could use your fingers and just roll it up as well. That works. So super cute. Who wouldn't love this as a present? So quick and easy to create, very inexpensive, and you're using those note cards and envelopes, which make it really easy to pop together. So here are our 3 projects. I really hope that you've enjoyed them. Don't forget to go head over and have a look at what Wendy's created this month using the Abstract Beauty. Her link is in the description of this video. And if you're in need of any of the supplies that I've used today, please purchase them in my online store. It'll help me to bring more videos to you. And I really hope, if you haven't hit subscribe, that you'll do that and come back and see some more creations really soon. Until I see you again, have a wonderful day everyone, and I can't wait to see you all soon. Alright, bye bye.